Alright. What's up, guys? Welcome to 30 Feet 102 channel. And yeah, so today we're gonna do some LSAT practice. Let's get started. Alright, physician in itself, exercise does not cause a heart attack. Rather, a sudden increase in the exercise regime can be a cause. When people with any physical condition suddenly increase their amount of exercise, they can also increase the risk of a heart attack. As a result, there will be an increased risk of heart attack among employees of this company due to the new health program. The conclusion drawn by the physician follows logically, for which one of the following is assumed. Employees will abruptly increase the amount of exercise as a result of the new health program. Probably A, I think. Yeah. Sounds pretty easy, huh? Editorial. The city has chosen a contractor to upgrade the heating system in public building. Only 40% of the technicians employed by this contractor are certified by the Heating Technicians Association. So the city started 60% of whose city said a contractor 60% of whose sessions are unqualified, which is an outrage. Phone is an assumption required by the argument and the editorial. 65 technician receive higher pay than hours for technician is irrelevant. We can eliminate that. Cross out. There are no contractors with fewer than 40% of the certified. They didn't. Nobody has said that. So B is eliminated. Technicians who lack certifications are not qualified technicians. I guess C. Let's look at D. Qualified technicians install the heating system to be upgraded. I don't know about that. Let's look at E. The contractor hired by the city has personal. What? That doesn't make sense. They never said that. So I guess it's C. Confident. Let's go. Biologist. Marine animals known as box jellyfish have eyes with well-formed lenses capable of producing a sharp images that reveal fine detail. But the box jellyfish retina are too far forward to receive a clear image. So these jellyfish can receive only a blurry image that reveals prominent features of objects but not fine detail. This example shows that eyes adapt only to an animal's needs rather than to some abstract sense of how good eye designed. The argument requires assuming which of one of the following. A. Box jellyfish are the only kind of jellyfish with retainers that do not focus clearly. So the argument is that I guess nature doesn't necessarily design an animal's eye so you could see better. Design so the animals could, I guess, survive better. So not so like the design of the animal's eye is not that like God didn't make the animal's eye according to human standards. So let's look at B. Box jellyfish have a need to detect prominent features of object but not fine details. Yeah, I think it's B. But just to be safe, let's just also read the rest of the answers here. Box jellyfish benefit from having retinas that allow their eyes to focus more sharply. Benefit. I guess might be might be C. I don't know. Let's look at D. Box jellyfish developed from jellyfish whose retainers receive clear images, while D is irrelevant. Let's cross that one. E. Box jellyfish use vision as their main means of detecting prey. I guess since the argument is that this example shows that eyes are adapted only to animals' needs rather than to some abstract sense of how a good eye would be designed. So the keyword here is needs. So I guess the keyword is animals' needs. So let's go back to the answers here. I guess B, because B also has, like it says, box jellyfish have a need to detect prominent features. So we can see the keyword need being used in answer B. So probably use B. When sales of other highly fuel efficient automobiles are in decline, sales of hydro are rising. The hydro manufacturers attribute its success to the hydro's price and very low fuel consumption. However, the hydro is comparable in price and fuel efficiency to its competitors. So it's more likely that its success due to the fact people want to appear environmentally conscious to their neighbors. That's funny, bro. So they just want to like flex and show off their I guess they just want to prove to their neighbors that they're better than them because they have a hydro car, that they care about the environment. Bro, this is funny, bro. I mean, the hydro cars and gas cars, they're like the same price, but like somehow it kind of values more because like it makes you appear more environmentally friendly. Bro, that's funny, bro. Like they didn't do it out of the goodness of their heart to protect the environment. They just do it to impress other people. Bro, that's funny, man. Which of the following is an assumption required by the argument? A. The hydro is so the argument is that the argument here, let me highlight it. It's more likely that its success is due to the fact that people want to appear environmentally conscious to their neighbors. So yeah, that's the argument. So let's look at the answers here. So A, the hydro is the most popular, highly fuel efficient automobiles available. Well, I mean, they didn't. You know what? I don't think A is required by the argument. You know, because the argument is saying that people buy hydro cars just so they could impress their neighbors. So I would think A is actually going against the argument. So yeah, let's look at B. The hydro is recognizable as environmentally friendly in a way that its competitors are not. Yeah, it could be B, right? C. The hydro has a better safety record than its competitors. And I think C just irrelevant because there's nowhere in the paragraph that talked about hydro cars being safer than its competitors. Like safety was not mentioned at all. Let's look at D. Hydro buyers are more likely to have neighbors who also drive hydro. What the heck does that even mean, bro? They never said that, bro. Let's look at E. Hydro buyers have less interest in environmental causes than buyers of other highly efficient automobiles. Have less interest in environmental causes. I wouldn't really say that, because if they do really have less interest in environmental causes, then they probably would not buy hydro cars, right? Yeah, so I'm gonna go with B. and I'm pretty confident here. Alright, perfect. Second 6. Yeah, so the LSAT seems to be easy. Maybe it's because I'm still at like the beginner's level here, so probably it's going to have harder questions later. I mean, I hope. Yeah, it says stage 1, so probably, yeah, it's only stage 1. So yeah, see that here? My goal score is 180. I hope I get it, man. Alright, practice. Read the passage and answer the question based on what is stated or implied. Select text to highlight laptop/desktop only. Historian. Short time elapsed. Historians Phillips R's claim that in medieval Europe, childhood was not viewed as a distinct period in human development. Huh, that's funny. Okay, so it was like there's no. So medieval people just does not recognize that their kids exist. So they just be like, as soon as the baby's born, they'd be like, man, you're an adult, man, you're a man now, bro. Like like they refuse to recognize the fact that kids exist. They just treat everyone the same as an adult, as a man. Imagine the minute you were born and like the priest will be like, yo, a real man have been born. We're gonna treat him like a man. The second he was out of his mother's womb, bro, that's funny, man. I wonder how they deal with that, man. Alright. With a special character needs, his argument for this thesis rely heavily on medieval text illustrations, which distinguish children from adults, principally by their stature, rather than by distinctly childlike appearance. The children look like mature adults. Also, Iris also suggested that high infant mortality rates in Middle Ages induced indifference towards offspring as a defense mechanism against establishing close ties with infants unlikely to survive. Shula Miss Sarah's recent research challenges this established conception of the medieval view of childhood. Shahara has had to work hard. I mean, it's funny. I mean, like, so medieval people just like sort of like refrain themselves from loving their kids just so that in case if their kids die they wouldn't be depressed. Bro, this this is ridiculous, man. Alright, yeah, so is that a she? Sure, as research trying to establish concept of the medieval childhood. Yeah, I think it's the she. Yeah, so this female scientist think otherwise. Yeah, I think I agree with her too. Like why this whole concept just makes sense. I mean, like medieval people do not see kids as kids, and they don't love their kids. I mean, like, and they refrain from loving their kids. I mean, see, they probably like a part of them want that, like a part of it's human instinct. It's human instinct to love their kids, but medieval people just refuse to love their kids, just so in case if their kids die, they wouldn't be depressed. This whole concept is just ridiculous to me. I don't know how the guy, this historian, Philippi guy, somehow come to the conclusion, but yeah, I agree with Shahara that this is total BS. Shahara has had to work hard to find evidence to support her interpretation of the medieval conception of childhood. Since works that review parents' personal attitudes, such as Giovanni Morelli's journal, are exceptional, Shahara makes intelligent use of medical writing and theological works, particularly illuminating our medieval accounts of saints' lives, which, despite their emphasis on personal piety, reveal much concerning the subject's childhoods and which provide evidence of parental concern for children. Even more significant are accounts of saints' miracle involving the healing of sick infants and the blessing of young couples with children. Uh, Shahara also discussed the period in childhood from age 7 to 11 when boys of the wealthier class were placed in monasteries or as apprentices in the household of a master of a trade. To some, this custom might imply a perception of childhood insufficiently distinguished from adulthood, or even indifference to children, evidenced by the willingness to send young children away from home. I mean, that's just BS, man. Bro, I look, man. Only parents who really love their kids. Okay, you know how like a lot of like um Chinese parents send their kids to go to school in the U.S. I mean, like they send their kids to the U.S. like for like boarding schools as early as the age of like 14. Um, and you cannot argue that the parents don't love the kids because in China there's one child policy, so they only have one kids. They only have like each household will only have one kid, so you cannot argue that they don't love the kid because they only have one kid. It's like it's only one this is the only kid we have, man. So I would say that the parents probably really love their kids. That's why they send the kids away to learn new skills. They want the kids to like grow and become mature and just like get better as people, become better people by leaving their homes and just going away somewhere. Because you know how like if you live with your parents the whole time, you would like if you live with your parents like until like college, you're sort of like lived in a protected environment. That's not good for you because that's not how the real world works. The real world is a lot tougher than your home. So by sending the kids away at a young age, you're actually helping the kids. You're not shielding them from the reality of the real world. You're exposing them to the real world at an earlier age, so they become mature earlier, which will be good for them later on. So, that Shahar points out, however, that training was in stages, and children were not expected to live as adults or to assume all the tasks of maturity all at once. Furthermore, Shahar quotes a telling number of instances in which parents of apprentices sue masters for maltreatment of their children. Shahar concludes that parents place their children in monasteries or as apprentices to not to be rid of them, but because it was a social norm to ensure one's children a future niche in society. Shahar's work is highly persuasive, but as a rebuttal to errors, it is uncomfortably incomplete. Shihara succeeds in demonstrating that people in the Middle Ages did view childhood as a definite stage in human development, and that they were not indifferent towards their children. But central to Aria's position was Zen contention that the family, as a powerful and private institution organized around children, is a relatively modern ideal, whose origin was related to the growing influence of the middle classes in the post-medieval period. Arius felt that this implies something novel about the development of perception of childhood and of the family. She does not comment on these larger issues. Just let me read this. So this thing implies something novel about the development of perceptions of childhood or of the family. She had this like common logic. Okay, that's weird. Wait, what? It has explanations, but I haven't even finished yet. Okay, well. So this passage is primarily concerned with what? Criticizing and dismissing a traditional theory. Describing and evaluating recent research. Are they criticizing and dismissing this traditional theory? I think they are, man. So it could be describing and evaluating recent research. Describing and evaluating. They're not evaluating, I don't think. There's no evaluation. So yeah, that's crossed out B. C. Reconciling two explanations for the same phenomenon. What? There's clearly a two conflict. There's clearly the first paragraph clearly presented. There's clearly two conflicted theory in the paragraph. So there's no way for you to reconcile the two. They're two complete opposites. Because refusing a recent hypothesis. Well, it's not a recent hypothesis. It's a long-held theory that I guess medieval people don't love their kids. It's a long-held theory. So, E. Summarizing information about an unusual phenomena. There's no unusual phenomenon. So, that's not E. So, A. Confident. What the? I got it wrong? Man, bro, you gotta be joking, bro. Describing and evaluating recent research. Okay, let's look at the explanation here. The passage don't dismiss either theory. It also argues that both theories have strengths. What the? Okay. Oh yeah, they didn't. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, it's just my own. Yeah, that's right, bro. I let my personal bias. I let my personal bias, um, influence my logical thinking. Yeah, the author never criticized any theory in the paragraph. In fact, the author proposed two theories and he kind of supported both of them. So yeah. So let's look at B here. This describes the passage's primary purpose. The passage describes and evaluates the research of two scholars. Yeah, correct. It's B. Just to be safe, just to see if we can learn more, I'm gonna read the rest of the answers, explanations too. The passage doesn't reconcile two explanations; they remain contrasted. Correct. This is the passage's primary purpose. Although the passage's valid strength works somewhat negatively, it doesn't refute. What? The passage evaluates Shahar's work negatively? How? What the heck? Where did it say that? Maybe it's Maybe it's the last sentence. Shahar does not comment on these larger issues. Maybe the author is. Shoot, I see it here. See that? It is uncomfortably incomplete. So the author is basically saying that Shahar's work is uncomfortably incomplete. I mean, why would the author do that? I mean, he could just simply say that it is incomplete. Why would he say uncomfortably incomplete? He kind of go the extra mile to sort of, I don't know. I guess the author sort of put his own personal bias in there. I think. And that's funny, man. I mean, like he's supposed to be like neutral, man. All right. Okay. E here. See the primary person it's not clear what unusual phenomenon is. Yeah, correct. Yeah, I've used that too. Yeah. I would agree that this unusual phenomenon is pretty weird. Answer. Let's look at the answer hints here. The question asks about primary purpose. What's the point? Oh yeah, it's easy stuff. Yeah. The passage supports which of the following statements about the treatment of childhood in medieval documents. A. Medieval accounts of childhood tend to emphasize the piety of their what? Irrelevant. B. Medieval accounts of saint lives focus on stories of miracles other than on childhood. There's BS, man. BS. C. Medical and theological writings provide scant evidence for what the heck is scant mean, man? Crap, man. I don't know what the heck that means. I'm gonna look up this word. I think it means like very little, like very few, like rare, like few. Let's see, barely sufficient or adequate, so little. Yeah, I was right. Provide insufficient evidence of parental concern for children. Medical and theological. Medieval concept. Highlight this. Medical and theological writing provides skin evidence of parental concern. That's not true because the highlighted portion just said that it provided a lot of good concrete evidence. So press C because it's just simply incorrect. Look at D. In medieval text illustrations, children were distinguished from adults by their appearance rather than by their stat. That's total BS, man. It's the opposite. They should swap the appearance with stature. Medieval text. By the way, what the heck is stature mean? Let me look it up here. Person's natural height.
Stature.
Okay, so it's height. Okay, alright. That's funny. Medieval text. Imagine that, bro. That's funny, man. Imagine like if you're super tall as like a 10-year-old, medieval people just like, man, bro, you're a man now, bro. You gotta like provide for the family now, bro. It'd be very bad news for the tall people, man. Bro, imagine if you were short, bro. Oh wait, never mind. The medieval people don't really recognize the fact that kids exist. So I guess. So in medieval text, the Egyptian children were not depicted with childlike features. I think I've seen it somewhere. Here. which distinguish children from adults partly by their stature rather than by distinctly childlike appearance. Yep, correct. Supports that. Confident. Which of the following best describes the functions of the first paragraph of the passage? A. It presents important evidence that a traditional theory has failed to take into account. Cross out A, because the first paragraph is literally presenting the traditional theory. Look at B, describes the historical sources that have been the focus of a recent debate. Historical sources? What? There's no recent debate, man. It's just BS, man. C, describes an argument that will be challenged by evidence provided in the passage. That will be challenged by evidence provided. Describes an argument that will be challenged by that will be challenged by evidence provided. Argument. Yeah, I think C, yeah, because later in the later paragraph, Shahara did challenge it with her own theory. So yeah, it could be C. D describes a puzzling historical phenomenon that will be accounted for in the passage. Puzzling historical. Puzzling historical phenomenon that will be accounted for in the past. It's not puzzling. I don't think it's easy. It's simple to understand. So it summarizes important information about the historical period that is discussed in the passage. Summarizes important information about the where it didn't tell us anything about the historical period. So only best describes the function of a player's person. Yeah, see, clearly. In the third paragraph, the author mentions the period in childhood from age 7 to 11, most likely in order to period. So this first paragraph, second paragraph, and third paragraph here. Childhood from age 7 to 11. Shahar also discussed during childhood from age 7 to 11 when boys are other places. I guess to support her argument, A, comparing perceptions of childhood and the Middle Ages with perceptions of childhood. Compare the perception of childhood in the Middle Ages with perception of childhood. Compare perceptions of childhood in the Middle Ages with perceptions of childhood and What? There's no comparison. I don't think there's any comparison. A is BS. Like B suggests that Sahara was unaware of important social norms in medieval communities. Sahara was unaware of important social norms in medieval communities. Aware of important social norms? What? It never said that. BS. C shows how Shahara supports the argument about the conception of childhood in the Middle Ages. Yeah, I think C is correct. But just to be safe, let's read D and E too. Suggests that the class and gender had important effects on the way in which children were treated in the Middle Ages. I mean, it did mention class and gender, but it's not her main purpose. Look at E, points out the difference between the medieval and modern conception of children's role in the family. No, it's actually pointing out the similarities. So, which, well, one of the following if true would provide the least support for Charles' arguments that they have described in the passage. A. Medieval documents contain stories of children. Least support for Charles' arguments in the passage. Medieval documents contain stories of children seemingly stillborn who were miraculously restored to life by their intercession of saints. What? A is just like irrelevant. It does not support or refute her argument. So A is BS. Cross out. B. The children of peasants remained at home in the later stages of childhood, gradually taking on more serious tests until the time came for marriage. B is actually supports her argument pretty well, so we can cross out B. C. Impoverished parents left their children at fundling hospitals because they were confident that their children would be better cared for there than they would have been at home. I think C supports the argument also, because C is saying that the parents actually care about the kids, so cross out C. D. The details of the saints' childhoods in the accounts of saints' lives were invented by medieval writers and did not reflect the attitude of parents in the Middle Ages. Yeah, it could be D. Because D is disproving and discrediting the evidence D is discrediting Shahar's evidence. E. Parents in the wealthy classes who did not place their children as apprentices were criticized for not providing their children with a secure future. I guess E also supports her argument, so I'll cross out E. Alright. 2 questions left. It can be inferred from the passage that Arius would be likely to agree with all of the following statements except A. Parents in the Middle Ages felt indifferent towards their children. Yeah, he would agree. Yeah, because that's his whole argument, is that parents don't love their kids in Middle Ages. Yeah. B. Conceptions of childhood and the family changed in the post-medieval period as a result of the growing influence of the middle classes. Arius did not really mention that. He probably would agree, because I think that's just a fact, that perception of childhood and the family definitely has somehow changed. Like, it has to change, but like, it just, the degree is like the extent of change, the degree of change that we don't really know, and it's really hard to pinpoint. But but it definitely changed. So he probably agree. So let's cross out B because we're looking for something that he does not agree. C, the ideal of the family as powerful and private institution developed in the Middle Ages. I think he probably disagree with that because he's saying that parents don't love kids. Therefore, if parents don't even love kids in the Middle Ages, how would a family become powerful if the parents don't even love the kids, man? You know, because a family consists of parents and kids. You know, is that's like the hardcore nuclear family, right? But if the family don't even love the kids, then how would a family be strong, bro? It's impossible, man. So he'd probably disagree with C. Alright, D. People in the Middle Ages view their children as miniature adults. Yeah, it's just straight facts. It's just street. It's just what street evidence that. Well, it's just his argument. You know, it's just street copied from his argument. So look at E. The family in the Middle Ages was not organized, or was not organized around the children. We don't know that. Nobody knows that. It was not mentioned in paragraph. He probably would agree with that because the guy is just his whole argument is that parents hate kids, so he probably would agree with E. So yeah. All right. Next question. Shahara's work is as it is described in the passage does not provide an answer to which one of the following questions. A. Did parents feel affection for their children in spite of the fact that many infants were unlikely to survive? It definitely provides an answer to A. Because the answer is yes, and I know that. Parents love... Yeah. B. How did social norms influence parents' decisions about their children's future? Norms influence... I guess the social norm is that parents are supposed to send their kids away. So, I guess social norms kind of force parents to send their kids away at a young age. So that's how social norms affect parents' decision about their children's future. So, it does answer B. So I can cross out A and B here. Because we're looking for ones that it does not answer. Okay, see, how did the changing perception of the family in the Middle Ages affect the perception of childhood? How did changing perception of the family in the Middle Ages affect the perception of childhood? Well, perception of family affect the perception of childhood. The change in perception. I don't think Shahara said anything about the changing perception of the family. I think he just assumed that the perception of the family stayed constant. So it could be C, I think. D. Were parents concerned about their children when they reached the age of 7? Definitely, yes. E. Did parents in the Middle Ages view childhood as a distinct stage in human development? Definitely, yes. So it's C. Alright, so I missed one question. And that's a shame, bro, because I aimed for like 100% correct, bro. Alright. So yeah, we're done here. I'll see you guys next week. Let me end my recording.